how you doing? Just wanted to talk about a topic that comes up reasonably often in currency trading. I was out on the weekend talking to a mate, and he asked me the question, how many currency pairs do I actually trade? And it's an interesting question, and the answer is very personal. I don't think that you're going to get ahead or behind by trading 2 currency pairs versus 30 currency pairs plus some indices and bits and pieces as well. So the guy that asked the question, he actually trades all the pairs, the majors, the minors, a heap of indexes. So he's probably covering technical analysis on 60 to 70 charts, which for me doesn't work at all. I look at basically there's 3 that I spend probably 80% of my time on, and then I cover all majors, pairs on a weekend, and if I find something interesting on those pairs, then I'll consider looking at those during the week as well. But during the week, I'm really only looking at probably 5 or 6 pairs. I find that if I spread myself any thinner than that, then I just get lost in the charts and my efficiency drops right off. So even though I've picked up volume, I've lost efficiency. Again, it's a very personal choice. Again, the guy that I was talking to, he's comfortable chasing those 60, 70 charts. He gets on those every morning. But for me, the truth is, if you're going to cover 60 charts or 70 charts, you're going to do that every morning, and you spend, say, 60 charts over 2 hours, that's 2 minutes per chart. I don't think that's enough time to really get a grasp and really get a feel for where the market's at that week, where the current opinion's at. So if I spend those same 2 hours in the morning as an example, and say 6 pairs, then the amount of time per chart is significantly increased, and you really get a feel for it, where it's heading, what the current momentum is, what the current market opinion is, and you can really get a better relationship, I think, with that chart. So let's just recap on the question quickly. And the question was, how many currency pairs do I trade? So I think a better question though is how many currency pairs you should trade. And the answer is simple. It's a personal choice, but that realistically you need to make a choice. So like I said earlier, for the person I was talking to on the weekend, he was trading 60 or 70 and that was working for him. I trade in any given week 5 or 6 and that works for me. So you guys just need to spend some time on the charts and really make a choice, and then just stick with your strategy, I think. Now, why spend more time on less pairs is fairly simple, really. I think over time you develop a relationship with individual pairs on the market. I don't think that they're all the same, and some really resonate with you and others don't make any sense at all, which is what I've found. So if I find if you can develop these intimate relationships with pairs, there's a significant advantage in where you can place your stop losses versus your entries. So an example would be, if I just come across a currency pair that I don't have much experience with at all, but I find some good support or resistance and I find some good price action, you know, I might be able to get an entry and a stop loss of maybe 100 or 150 pips. So say I'm chasing 5% reward to any 1% risk in the market, and I've got 100 pip stop loss. I need a 500 pip move on the market to get that 5% reward. So if I don't have that relationship with that pair, I don't really know what the daily range is, how long it's going to take to get there, how that market really responds. So I guess the advantage to understanding a pair more so, and there's one in particular that I really like, and I would have given myself, without exaggerating, probably 2,000 hours of chart time on this one currency pair over the journey. Now I can get on there, I really resonate with this particular pair, and I really do have a relationship developed with it over the time. So like I said, an advantage is when I put an entry on, I generally run only a 35 pip stop loss. So to get that same 5%, I'm chasing much less movement in the market. And also in this particular pair, the daily range is above 200 pips. So that's why in my last video I mentioned my average reward for the year is 8.3% versus 1% risk. And that's why, because I'm only running a 35 pip stop loss on this particular pair. So I don't need the market to move any more than 1 or 2 or 3 days for me to get, you know, some real reward. So it's the leverage. So I would never have the confidence to place such tight stops on a currency pair that I didn't have that relationship with. It just wouldn't make sense. So the answer to the friend that I was talking to was less is more for me. So because he's covering more range in the market, but wouldn't have the confidence necessarily. He wouldn't intricately know any one particular pair, I wouldn't have thought. Certainly when I asked him what his favourite few were, he couldn't answer it. So people that cover more currency pairs, indices and all the different bits and pieces will be placing wider stop loss, waiting for more movement in the market to make those same risk rewards. So yes, I'm covering less actual market, but I'm doing it in a lot more detail. And I personally believe, and it's very personal, it's up to the individual trader, I personally believe that less is more in that regard. Get to know something in absolute detail, develop a relationship with, earn trust with that currency pair and stay with it. And I've certainly found good results in that, and I think you will too.